Welcome to Plus Delta 314's Things I Have to Share Today recording. Plus Delta is committed to helping leaders of professional service organizations serve more people through improved operations. So what I have to share today is that I have seen so many leaders who get bombarded with questions and they feel like they have to have all of the answers. And then they get anxiety when they don't, or they spend a ton of time trying to fish the ideas out of the heads of the people that are probably best equipped to come up with the solution. The good news is that I'm going to show you today can help you empower your team, help you come up with better solutions, and take the pressure off of you and reduce the amount of time that it takes as a leader to come up with these answers. Now, I've got my master's in design thinking certification from MIT, and they proposed this structure for design thinking, and I realized that the process that I had been using all these years for solving problems and making decisions aligns really nicely with their model. I think the key is divergence and convergence. And what happens is typically that an employee says, why don't we XYZ? Or they say, I have this problem, I have that problem. And they don't really think through multiple options or even the viability of those options. And so a long time ago, I designed this template and I asked my teams to start using it. And so that's what I want to do today is I want to walk you through the template that I created that I've made my teams follow for a number of years, that when they have a problem or they have a solution that they want to implement, that they have to fill out and give to me prior to making a decision about how we'll move forward. So the very first thing is that they get this template and they have to put in what the name of their issue or what their proposed solution or approach is. And then they have to state the issue and they have to really outline who's impacted and then what is the impact rating. Is it really critical or is it really minimal? And to just in a short few bullet points give some samples or some symptoms of the impact. This really just helps people codify their thinking, and it gives you sort of an executive summary as a starting point to understand why this person has been triggered, why they believe that there needs to be a solution, and what some of the impacts of that solution, so that you can start making some informed decisions about how important it is to solve it. So the next thing I do is I always ask them to make sure that they provide 3 possible solutions. And this is where the divergence comes in. And I think it's really important to note that psychologically, you have to have 3. Because if you only have 2, or even if you only have 1, there is a belief internally that 1 is right and 1 is wrong. Whereas when you provide 3, you're really detaching yourself from the outcome. And so that sense of, ooh, I don't want to make a wrong decision tends to go away. Also, by making the person who's coming up with the idea come up with a good, better, and best version, it unlocks some of those limiting beliefs of maybe we can't do it this way because we don't have enough budget or we don't have enough time. And so I think it's really important that they come up with a bullet point of just good, better, and best, what the best case scenario would be, what the typical benefits or outcomes might be if one of these solutions was selected. And then I have them go in and on each slide take their pros and cons and then what the cost and the ROI would be. And so I don't talk about it in terms of ROI. I just say what's the upside or what's the potential. So again, they're making the business case essentially. And we all do this to some extent, although we probably don't do it really formally. And so just doesn't have to be overly complex for them, but just for them to take the time to kind of write down, here's why I'm thinking solution 1 or solution 2 or solution 3. And then at the end, they have to give a recommendation. And so they might say, my recommendation is solution 1 because it's the fastest and easiest and cheapest to implement and it's the quickest path to ROI. Or they might say, my recommendation is solution 3 because it's going to be the full enchilada and money is no object and it's that big of an important thing, and that'll really give you a sense of where they're at on the issue, and if they land somewhere in the middle, that's probably going to make them happy too. So I think it's just really important to have a framework that you can give to people, because it saves you a lot of time in having to fish these ideas out of their head and think through it with them. And so the next time somebody comes into you and says, hey, I have a problem, or I want to do this project or this particular thing, or I think we should, I would recommend that you give them this template and you ask them to go and work through it, and then to come back and have a set time with you to kind of give a presentation and to help you understand where they're coming from. What I found, honestly, is that most people won't take the time, which that to me is just a great indicator of how important the issue really is. And those that do have a much better, much more thought out solution, and they really understand the ROI and the impact. So just to kind of wrap everything up, if you really want to quit being the one that has to make all the decisions, if you want to empower your team, if you want better solutions, and you want to save time, then I highly recommend giving them this template. It's really important that they have a structure, they have a framework, so they know what you expect, and that you encourage them to do that divergent thinking. So not to just come up with one solution, but maybe come up with many solutions, and then narrow it down to good, better, and best. And then it's really important that you have a set time that you're going to go back and you're going to review this. So I had just a quarterly meeting. You might need to do it more frequently. It could be they can schedule the meeting and the review with you. But if you choose not to do anything with the work that they've done without explaining it, that can backfire significantly too. So if somebody has put together all of the details and then you decide it's not that important, or not going to move forward with it for whatever, whether it's a budget constraint, or maybe just because there's competing priorities, take the time to sit down with them and to say, I understood your point. I thought it was really well thought out. But I have other competing priorities outside of this issue or problem, and based on the impact to the end users, based on the implementation time or cost, we're not going to be moving forward with your idea at this time, but I will keep it for future consideration, or something along those lines. But the feedback is really important, because the people that do spend the time to do this obviously really care, and so they want to see that you care as well. Well, that is it. I really hope that this framework helps you lead your team well. For a copy of this template, you can email me at tabitha@plusdelta314.com, and I will just give you the PowerPoint, and you can share it with your team, put your own branding on it. And if you're looking for any more ideas on how to help your professional services firms flourish by implementing operational best practices so you can serve more people better, contact me at tabitha@plusdelta314.com. Thanks, and have an amazing day.